Sup everyone, we'll start inshallah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli waj'al li waziran min ahli Harun akhi ushdud bihi azri washriku fi amri kay nusabbihaka kaseera wa nazkuraka kaseera innaka kunta bina basira. Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab wa Shaban wa balighna Ramadan. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. All right, welcome everyone. Inshallah, we will continue with the raise. We're now going to be on page 651 of the book. We'll be on the fourth point. So this is all section on all praise be to God. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And we're going through different points in terms of what belief and unbelief, or what belief and the other philosophy of materialism or any other understanding that does not see the unicity, absoluteness of the source of existence, how that differentiates and what that brings to our human psyche and our human feelings and our state of being in this world. So there's one lens which says one thing, and then there's the lens of the Quran, which most definitely brings guidance to the human being, which is human being is looking for that satisfaction, that point of support, as that was the point of the third point. That belief affords that support and assistance, and the belief itself is something that would allow us to say Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Because that, if you realize the importance of that belief and that understanding of the way who the owner of this universe is and what it means to me, living with that understanding and getting to know him, establishing my relation, then Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, all praise be to God, will be something that will be organic to my, as a conclusion for my being. I would be living with that, inshallah. So let's continue with the fourth point. Through showing that similar pleasures exist and will be bestowed. Through showing that similar pleasures exist and will be bestowed, the light of belief removes the pain that occurs when lawful pleasures start to fade. Through showing that similar pleasures exist and will be bestowed. So by observing the universe, our experiences that we go through, we are seeing, we experience pleasure, but there's a reason for that experience of pleasure, or even pains or sorrows. But mostly in terms of pleasures, we know that although we are subject to time and space, that moment does go away. But it tells us, it leaves us a message, it leaves a stamp on us in terms of understanding that whoever arranged this, whoever gave us that pleasure, the source of that pleasure, actually it's not that temporary thing that we experience, but it's the one who is my Lord, the one taking care of me, who is giving me that pleasure, then I know that pleasure is bound to last, it won't fade away. So the light of belief removes the pain. And that's something the light of belief that brings in, because the other lens of the philosophy just, it's a dead end. That's it. You enjoy it for some time and then that's it. Enjoy it while it lasts. You only live once is the motto. So why don't you enjoy it while you're here in this world? Uh-oh. Through furthermore pointing, belief removes the pain that occurs when lawful pleasures start to fade. Belief removes the pain that occurs when lawful pleasures start to fade. So even with belief, you can enjoy the company of your friends, your family, loved ones, enjoy the beauty of the garden or your walk or whatever one is engaged in. And that's in recognition that this is set up by the Lord of the universe. And that makes it a lawful pleasure because it doesn't go against your reality, the way you are. Is something that's bound within the limits of recognition that this is a presentation and understanding that is there. So belief removes that pain because that is also experienced within the time and space that we're subjected to. Everybody's changing, we're all getting older. So of course we are enjoying our existence at every moment, hopefully, or we're going through experiences. But when we are in tune, we do understand that we are being treated here as a guest. So beliefs gives that hope, I would say. And oh my God, these emergency messages that keep coming up. All right. I don't know if your phones are doing the same thing, emergency alerts. Sorry about that. Furthermore, through pointing out the source of bounties, it ensures that the bounties continue and do not diminish. Oh, snow squall warning. Sorry. Distractions. Furthermore, through pointing out the source of bounties, it ensures that the bounties continue and do not diminish. Through pointing out, so whatever those pleasures are experienced through, they're also pointing out who the source of those bounties are, pointing out the source of the bounty. So all those temporary pleasures that we're experiencing, we have to seek out who the source of those bounties is. Because although the experience of eating something delicious is temporary, but the source of the bounties, it introduces us to that source who is infinite and eternal and absolute. So it ensures, by seeking the source of bounties, that ensures that the bounties continue and do not diminish. So this is with the light of belief. Similarly, through showing the pleasure of renewed acquaintance, through showing the pleasure of renewed acquaintance. Similarly, through showing the pleasure of renewed acquaintance. What does he mean by renewed acquaintance? So every day we are being exposed to different kinds of pleasures. You're eating every day. Is that the renewed acquaintance? It removes the pain of separation and parting. So we are being educated and basically introduced to that this pleasure is coming from our source of existence, who is absolute, so it removes the pain of separation and parting. That is to say, while many pains occur at the thought of the passing of a single pleasure, while many pains occur at the thought of the passing of a single pleasure, that's true. Many pains occur at the thought of the passing of a single pleasure. Belief removes them by calling to mind the recurrence of the pleasure. Beautiful. While many pains occur at the thought of the passing of a single pleasure, belief removes them, removes those pains by calling to mind the recurrence of the pleasure. In any event, there are further pleasures in the renewal of pleasure. If a fruit has no tree, if a fruit has no tree, its pleasure is restricted to and ceases on its being eaten. Oh yeah, that's the last fruit. And its ceasing is the cause of sorrow. But if the fruit's tree is known, if the fruit's tree is known, there is no pain when the fruit ceases to exist, for there are others to come in its place. Yeah, so once we know who the absolute source is, even those temporary pleasures, we can take pleasure in them because we're getting to know the absolute source through that. At the same time, renewal is in itself a pleasure. Renewal is in itself a pleasure. Yeah, every day we enjoy sleeping, we enjoy getting up, we enjoy eating, drinking. For what troubles the human spirit most are the pains arising from separation. Separation, yes. What troubles the human spirit most are the pains from separation. Whereas the light of belief removes those pains through the hope of renewed meeting and the recurrence of similar encounters. What troubles the human spirit most are the pains arising from separation, whereas the light of belief removes those pains through the hope of renewed meeting and the recurrence of similar encounters. Alhamdulillah, very good point. Brother Ali, please go ahead.
That's a very good point. What did you mean? I may not need to speak at all. If you just explain, because I think we are going to mention the same point. Go ahead. If I want to say something else, I will join you.
Okay, yeah. Would anybody like to say anything? I mean, is that what you're saying? We want to go over this? I mean, this is a very good point from what I like, how what belief brings to human beings. That's what we're studying. And
what is the good point? I couldn't understand. That's what I'm expecting you to explain. You said this very good point. Which point?
Good points is that, whenever we feel the pains of separation or anything, it's just we don't have to worry about them. They should not become pain for us. We can get rid of those pains. Because we know that whoever is the owner, those pains are just because we're thinking it's separation, we're going to lose those. So if I'm thinking I'm going to lose my qualities, that causes pain, but that pain is a wrongful pain. No, I'm not, because I'm not body only. I have a spirit and soul. and all the tools and utility, the senses that are given to me are there for me to recognize who the owner is. So that pain should not be there, because those, my spirit, my soul, my human side looks for that. Hey, after death, I should definitely, be able to see and hear, be able to use my reasoning and senses. It's a beautiful point that the pain is just, don't worry about that. Don't get those pains. There is no separation as such.
Excellent, very good. That's what I guessed, actually. We are going to talk about the same thing. This fruit without a tree. Example in this word is very easy to understand. Beautiful, simple examples. What I like in the Quran and in the Risale-i Nur, the examples are extremely simple. Fruit without a tree means I've got one fruit, I tasted it, but there is no tree to produce, through the tree, but in this analogy, to produce next year again, next year again, next year again, or more and more and more, not only one. For example, there are hundreds of the fruits on one tree. So it is a sign to the source of this fruit is continuing. It is continuing. That is the only way to cure the pain of separation. Now, in the last paragraph, it said, whereas the light of belief removes those pains through the hope of renewed meeting and the recurrence of similar encounters. It means, as you said, only through the light of belief that human beings can feel that we are not going to feel any separation. That is amazing, because we know that if we like a person, we love a person, if he passes away, we know that as a believer, let's assume this, inshallah, we will be together anyways. It is not the separation. Only the separation is our material, physical relationship with the body, and therefore the spirit in it is temporarily separated from us. But still, this temporary separation, even we are 100% sure that this person died, but it doesn't mean that I am separated from it, in fact. But still, the separation is painful. Even temporary separation is painful. Temporary separation is painful. But belief demonstrates all these bounties in the world created for us in the world. We know that they have, I am using the analogy made here in the text, a tree. I am taking the fruit, but tree is there. And it is such a tree that, of course, because of the definition of absoluteness of the tree, creator, originator of the universe, creator, absolute infinite means the tree is continuously producing fruit. It means his generosity, his bounties, his grace, continuously coming. Continuously coming. It is described in the Quran as how the paradise will be. يُفَجِّرُونَهَا تَفْجِيرًا, for example, the fountainheads will really flush out, burst out water, but continuously and even stronger and stronger and stronger. No way to imagine that it will one day come to an end. This shows us that only through belief we can now see the tree, I'm using it in quote unquote, using it only by recognizing that the tree is coming from a tree is not only fruit is coming from a tree. Is not only I'm eating one fruit, but the source of this fruit has been continuously producing. In this world, even we can feel that, in fact, when I am eating the fruit, of course, and as I eat it, it loses its being a fruit. Now it disappears, if you like, materially. But my spirit knows that it has an infinite source. As soon as when I eat it, it finishes, another one is ready. Why? Because the source is continuously creating. From there, we can easily conclude that this is in this world as well as in the next creation. After spirit is separated from the body, still in the next creation of the body, appropriate to the capacity of the spirit now as we educate him in the world. Also, eternal bounty, eternal grace, generosity will continue. So for belief makes my life in satisfied comfort in this world, as well as, even some people say, even if there is a hereafter. Yeah, not even if. There must be, and there will be even in a much better position than or quality than I am experiencing him, because I am experiencing this taste here, because the Creator will demonstrate his qualities with no veil, direct reflections of the names and qualities of the Creator, but direct reflection with no veil. That's what we have to understand. Because in this world, how do we understand it will be direct? In this world, we not bodily experience, we don't experience bodily direct reflection or manifestations of the qualities of the Creator, but in this world, my spirit, my feeling, for example, although my tongue tastes the fruit, the taste of the fruit, and enjoys it, I enjoy it, spirit enjoys it, and when the fruit finishes, the taste is not experienced, but the spirit, human capacity, can easily perceive and understand that if I realize this fruit is coming from an absolute source, then spirit continuously experiences the generosity of the Creator and his loving relationship with me in this world. Spirit experiences this result of understanding without any veil. That is important. Spirit experiences it without any veil. Tongue experiences it with veil, because it has to eat fruit. But spirit, after tasting it, it can preserve this result and understand that human spirit, human capacity looks for the source. It can understand that the source must be the source of existence of this taste, and it must be absolute one, because he is the one who creates the taste in every different food or fruit, vegetable, etc. At the same time, demonstrates that every kind of manifestation is coming from the same source. veil, I think Feriha asks, please explain the veil part again. Okay. But it should, I will be speaking a lot, that's why. Oh, but I will try as short as possible, which I always fail to make it short. I have to give all the details explanation. That's how I feel it. Now, veil is, look, the body of the tree, the body of the fruit is a veil. This apparent movement which is going on in the body of the tree, as if gives an superficial impression that fruit is, tree is producing the fruit. Because, of course, human beings think in vice versa, opposite direction. If there was no tree, there would be no fruit. Now, this combination is a veil. But why is it a veil? Then it is not really true, reality. Well, it is a veil. Why? Because we understand that the tree, the elements of the tree, parts of the tree, cannot be the source of existence of the fruit, even the body of the fruit, taste of the fruit, and all this design of the fruit, form of the fruit, etc. And every quality cannot be. Now, from there, I understand that this is just a veil so that we have to reason. Can the molecules of the tree be the source of existence of the fruit as well as all the qualities of the fruit? Can it be the source of it? After questioning this, we can easily say La ilaha, and then we see that every creature has its own taste from different perspective. The source of existence of taste now, giving the quality of taste to everything, must be the one, because it's everywhere, the one who created the whole universe with this quality, which is the source of existence of this universe, which is the owner of this universe. We call it God.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yeah, so the continuation part is very important. Our soul, our spirit has to realize that, inshallah. So there's a comment. So the universe is a whale and my body experiences the whale, but the spirit experiences without the whale. So yeah, so I think the brother Ali did make that comment that the fruit is a whale and my tongue, bodily parts, they go through the whale, and then we go La ilaha by examining do the tree or the fruit have the quality to give me pleasure, for example, or the taste. But the spirit understands that after tasting the spirit connects that the illallah part. Yeah, go ahead, brother Ali, you were saying something.
So the veil should be understood in two different perspectives at the same time. For example, in the screen, when the camera projector reflects the figures on the screen is a veil, but only through the veil I can see the manifestations, reflections of what the camera has. For example, from one aspect, this our very practical, usually repeated example, when I look at a piece of art, but piece of art is made up certain, whatever they call it, whatever, I forgot this one. I mean, made up of paints, different colors of paints. Okay, simple. Now, the paints has no power to be source of existence of the art. We know that. When you look at it, of course, the matter cannot be the source of existence of art. So human mind can easily understand, comprehend it. But without, in this world, how the creation takes place, without using the paint, this word doesn't allow the art demonstrating itself to us. That is how the universe is constructed. The universe is a veil, but where the art of the artist, with capital A, artist, manifesting its art and the qualities of its art on the veil of paints or canvas, or together, doesn't matter. But in the Akhirah, the creation will not use the same example as the Quran describes, will not be needed for the Creator to manifest his quality of art through different, doesn't matter, paints. Direct manifestation. But manifestation, that is almost, next to impossibility to comprehend it, because we are used to here always manifesting the qualities through the paints, as far as the painting quality is concerned, or paintings are concerned. So we cannot know in this world the quality of painter unless he manifests it, but he needs means, because it is in the if you like, order of the universe, that through means we are receiving. So what remains to us? To make the analysis now. What is where the analysis is going to happen? Between the art and where it appears, the painting or canvas. Now, human beings are free to interpret it. One side of human being says, look at this one, I am a human being. I can reason comfortably with no hesitation, no limitation, that paint cannot be the source of existence of art, because they are completely different nature. It's completely irrelevant to each other. Like the mirror reflecting the sunlight cannot be the source of light or heat. But we know that glass cannot be that. But something else is manifesting that. That is very easy if we really concentrate on it sincerely, trying to see with the intention to see what the reality is. We can easily say that something else is manifesting in the mirror. Somebody's quality is manifesting in the paint. So something else's qualities are manifesting themselves in this veil of the universe. But veil can be understood as protecting to be seen. This is partially true if we are really very careful. Why it is happening in this world in this way? Because of the source being an absolute being. The source is an absolute being. And our spirit, cannot perceive the absolute qualities. Absolute, anything absolute cannot perceive it, because the spirit in this world operates through our body, and our body only allows us to see not the absolute, but partial manifestations of the absolute. Now, in this sense, in the second sense, the veil is really protecting the essence of God, Zat-i ilahi, essence of God. From this aspect, it looks like really preventing something to be seen. But in our real experience of the world, it is the screen where the, for example, the movie is reflected, or what the program, whatever it is in the computer, reflected in the screen. The broadcasting is reflected in the string, on the screen. So without the veil, it means screen, we cannot see it. But at the same time, this veil example is very useful to understand, but at the same time, our capacity to observe, to behold the absolute one, absoluteness within the universe. But our spirit can easily perceive the necessary existence of this absolute source. That's why belief can be only in ghaib. The reason why ghaib, it means you understand its existence, you are sure of its existence, but it is far ahead or more beyond your capacity of perception. You cannot really perceive it, but you understand that it is there. You understand that it is there. Of course, one example is commonly used in the common culture. You cannot look at the sun. I mean, it is not a good example at all. Forget about it, because you can use a darkened glass, and from behind the darkened glass, you can see the sun. Now, it is not a good example. Don't be misled with this example. Not because the capacity of my eye cannot see the sun, but I can see the sun. At least I can see the sun, it's there, but I cannot look at it continuously. That is not an analogy at all. It is a false way of explaining it. But we have to understand it's a matter of capacity, createdness and the creator. One of them has the quality to be the source of existence of anything. 0%. Cannot be. But the qualities are there. So the source of existence of this universe has the qualities 100%. That's why we have to be very careful when we say, oh, our knowledge is very limited. Not at all. Limited or large, you can learn more and more and more. At every stage of your capacity of knowledge is nothing of itself, but all created. It means manifestations of the knowledge, the absolute knowledge of the creator. So you open your mirror, it reflects in it according to the capacity of your mirror. If I have a small mirror, so the example is sunlight reflects in a small amount. If I have a big mirror, and like certain lenses, even the sunlight burns the things. They're so dense. So it depends on my capacity. Thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. So yeah, so the thing that ceases causes us sorrow, but the continuation part is amazing. If we realize that. So the whale part also is very good. Thank you, Brother Ali, for sharing the whale explanations. Yeah, bounties continue and do not diminish. This is something that we have to understand but that's what belief brings. Belief brings and calls to mind the continuation and recurrence of the pleasure. That it's temporary, it's not ceasing. And of course in this life, and of course in the next life. All right, I'm gonna move to the fifth point unless somebody wants to make any comment on the fourth one. All right, so the things among these beings, man imagines to be hostile and foreign. The things among these beings, man imagines to be hostile and foreign, and lifeless and lost, as though orphans or dead. The light of belief shows to him as friends and brothers, as living and as glorifying God. Like day and night difference of views. Hostile and foreign, enemy versus a friend, lifeless versus living, lost as though orphans are dead, living and glorifying God. That is to say, a person who looks with the eye of heedlessness supposes the beings in the world to be harmful like enemies. With the eye of heedlessness supposes the beings in the world to be harmful like enemies, and he takes fright. He sees things as foreign. For in the view of misguidance, there are no bonds of brotherhood between the things of the past and those of the future. In the view of misguidance, there are no bonds of brotherhood between the things of the past and those of the future. There is only an insignificant partial connection between them. As a consequence, the brotherhood of the people of misguidance is only for 1 minute within thousands of years. Whereas, in the view of belief, all the heavenly bodies appear as living and as familiar with one another. All the heavenly bodies appear as living and as familiar with one another. Belief shows each of them to be glorifying its creator through the tongue of its being. Belief shows each of them to be glorifying its creator through the tongue of its being. It is in this respect that all the heavenly bodies possess a sort of life and spirit according to each. There is no fear and fright, therefore, when the heavenly bodies are considered with this view of belief. But there is familiarity and love. There is no fear and fright, therefore, when the heavenly bodies are considered with this view of belief, there is familiarity and love. The view of unbelief sees human beings, powerless as they are to secure their desires, as ownerless and without protector. The view of unbelief sees human beings powerless as they are to secure their desires, as ownerless and without protector. Unbelief, it imagines them to be grieving and sorrowful like weeping orphans on account of their impotence. So human beings imagine that they are grieving and sorrowful like weeping orphans. What you see everything around that understanding of unbelief, no connection with an absolute source, imagines them to be grieving and sorrowful like weeping orphans on account of their impotence. The view of belief, on the other hand, sees them as living creatures, not as orphans, but officials charged with duties. Officials charged with duties. Wow, orphans versus officials charged with duties, as servants glorifying and extolling God. So the word yatim in the Quran is translated as orphans, but the Quran has a different understanding meaning of what the word orphan is, or yatim. This is what it ties to the what unbelief and belief is, and belief meaning that connection, recognizing that you have an owner, there's a Lord, all the things around you, the plants, the animals, the fruits, the trees, everyone has an owner, somebody who's taking care of those beings. So everything, if that connection is there, everything becomes friendly, is a brother, because there is that, it ties you with that owner. My owner is your owner is also the same. We all have the same owner. So we all belong to the same owner. So that brings that familiarity with the owner, and everything. The perspective changes. I will start seeing everything with the eye that it belongs to the owner of the universe. Whoever owns me owns this thing also. So with that connection is established, and it becomes friends and brothers. It gains interesting from orphan or dead to something that is like an envoy or an official charged with duties. It has duties or responsibilities. It's because it's glorifying and extolling God. Although we may not see go through the veil, as we've been discussing, we have to go through decipher through the veil, go through the La ilaha part, seeing that those things are not standing by themselves, they're not forming, being shaped, or not giving fruits, not flourishing, it's not raining by itself, or it's not snowing by itself. The clouds are not moving by themselves. Human beings are not by themselves, but there's a source behind that is making that. Yeah, so the comment says connection through the same point of support. Thank you, Faria, for that comment. I mean, who would want to be with that? That living in that fear of losing things, powerlessness, and although there are so many desires we would like to secure, but that contradiction the human being finds himself in, that I can't do anything, I'm powerless completely, and there's no connection, there's no point of support. It's like, yeah, I can look for things in the universe, but there's nothing there that can do it. Only beliefs brings me that connection, that support. Brotherly, please go ahead.
No, it is interesting that the text in the first paragraph use heedlessness. I'm being not really concerned about the reality of this world. Heedlessness, it's like this as you see it. Come on, what is the mysterious in it? Everything works by itself. This heedlessness, which is called in Arabic, ghafla. So not being aware of or not only being aware, but not willing to be aware of the reality. Results in what? Seeing the world as survival of the fittest in the world. Things are struggling to remain in existence if it is alive in life. Why? I don't know. Well, that is how it is. Instinct. It's ridiculous. Why? Matter will strive to remain in existence and turn into a living being. Which kind of quality they have? Nothing. They have to obey. They have to obey and follow the order of the universe as they are appointed there as an official, as the text says. That's why they don't see the atoms and all the qualities, particles, whatever, which is the component parts of this universe, whatever they are, doesn't matter, whatever the name they use it, doesn't really matter. They are in the unbelief, in the eye of the unbelief, they are orphans. Orphan means doesn't have any protector, no father, no mother, etc. But describing of course, you pointed out actually very cunningly, the Quran uses orphan not only for those people who don't have parents. In the eye of the people who see that these people, the poor people, all the creatures all together do not have any protector. They are themselves trying to survive in existence, keep their existence. Everything is an orphan in their eyes. So they are the part of this orphanage, if you like. They see themselves also no owner, no protector. They takes care of consciously and gives them existence and lets them experience the existence and the taste of the existence, beauty of the existence, and understand what the consequence will be. It means this is an, if you like, use the same word, veil, to demonstrate who my real owner can be, so we can reason about it. So heedlessness is the source of unbelief. Unbelief means not trying to see the protecting side, protecting factor in the creation. Everything is given a certain purpose and everything is kept in order to reach this purpose with no effort from ourselves. For example, what I do myself, nothing. To exist, I did nothing. To have life, I did nothing. To have eyes, I did nothing. To have feelings, I did nothing. But I am taken care of like a newly born baby. The baby is born, newly born, he or she cries. And no one gets angry with them. They all say what? Human parents. What does he need? What does he need or she needs? But she's just crying. Cannot do anything else. Cannot threaten the parents or do it because it is taken care of. Taken care of not by the parents. No. The quality, the sense of protecting, responsibility, mercy, compassion given to the spirit of the person. We call it in the heart of the person, in practical language, in the heart of the person, in the spirit of the person, soul of the person. So we have to take care of the baby. Who doesn't? Even the most atheist one has to take care of his children. Why? He is an if you like, officials charged with duties, but as a result of negligence or heedlessness, he became, no, he chose to be an unbeliever. It means denier, the protector, the source of existence, and then interpreted everything as orphan, but his relationship with the baby is nothing to do with this baby, because he cannot protect himself, but the parents does it. As a parent, he protects it. He never questions that why. They say very simple, very, very superficial and really nonsense explanation. Everybody wants to continue its generation. Why? Why? Where did I get this feeling? This is just a meaningless excuses for their stupid ideas. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So what is this insignificant partial connection that with the eye of heedlessness? Temporary base, that's the example you were giving about the parent and the child relationship. It's not the parents that are providing the protection or the ownership. So Suhail, go ahead.
Assalamualaikum. It's kind of just a personal example. I think when I was in college, I was in a chemistry class, and I think the teacher was an atheist or maybe an agnostic. I'm not 100% sure. He never acknowledged anything. He didn't mention. Obviously, they don't mention these things in class, but I just kind of had this impression, and from the way he spoke. But what I found interesting was that I forget which chemist he looked up to or he admired, somebody historical. I can't remember exactly who it was, and who had died maybe 50 years ago or so, or 60 years ago. And he would say that he would make, and I'm not sure where the person was buried. I can't remember who it was, but he would make like an annual pilgrimage. In a sense, he would go to this person's grave and pay his respects or whatever that meant to him. And I always found that interesting. It's, for some reason, it always stuck with me because, in some sense, so these materialist philosophers, scientists, they always look up to these people of the past. They always have these scientists like their prophets that they look up to. Copernicus, Galileo, Newton, Einstein. They're in a sense like almost demigods to them, and they always like show some sort of respect, as if there's like some sort of connection. And I always find interesting in that even though a good portion of them are like atheists, it doesn't make any sense if you really took that position to its conclusion. And that, like, why do you care? Why do you have such a I guess, like, you can say, as he says, like a brotherhood. Why do you feel some sort of human connection to them? Somebody who you didn't even meet, who's dead, who's a dust in the ground, and has no bearing on your life, realistically, for you, and after you die, nothing at all. And nobody seems to want to acknowledge that, because, as Ali Member says, like, how can matter like feel this way or think this way or have some connection beyond themselves and beyond not just space, but beyond time itself, just transcends that. And to come up with these ideas that contradict it, to say that, oh, everything acts individually according for its own survival, or its own benefit, individual benefit, rather than, as like Nursi will put it, like mutual cooperation, is completely self-contradictory. And I think it showed me that nobody can deny, I guess, how they are created. Like, what is the human fitra? They can deny what it means They can deny what it indicates or what it implies or what the conclusion must be from that, but they cannot deny, I guess, necessarily how things are made. They can come up with theories and ideas to explain everything away, but that in a sense is their own false veil over reality. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Suhail. Yeah, I just put a comment to add to your list of alchemists. Yeah, like weak bonds, basically, as I understood. Because somebody dies or in the future somebody's there, but it's just, okay, while they're there in this world, that's what heedlessness and misguidance brings, versus not as officials or servants glorifying and extolling God is a whole different matter. So I think, yes, good points. Any final comments anybody wants to make? If not, we can stop here, inshallah. All right, thank you everyone. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bi hurmati siratil Fatiha.